four-time Miss Olympia Jay Cutler. Welcome to my channel, Jay Cutler TV, and make sure to stay in tune with the newest and updated videos. Subscribe below, guys. Thank you so much for following along.
Okay, dann mache ich kurz. Please welcome Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Pleasure for me to be here today. And I want to thank everyone for their continuous support. Thank you guys so much for organizing this event, and thank you for all the fans for coming out. This is a huge, huge turnout. And this is my only single trip to Germany. Usually I come for FIBO, and I get to see thousands of fans. And it's just hello, goodbye. But this is more for you guys. And everyone at the end will get to take a picture with me, and I want you guys to be able to ask the questions, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my life as Mr. Olympia, and a lot of you guys have learned a lot of information on the internet about me through magazines. I've been around a long time. I've been retired 5 years. It's 5 years from right now that I stepped away from the stage. 2013 was the last Mr. Olympia I did. But I'm still traveling the world and doing all the great things, and I'm still training on a daily basis, which I love to do. And that's the best part of my day, was going to the gym. I'll never retire from lifting weights, eating healthy, and being Mr. Olympia. That was a huge, huge goal of mine. And I was able to win it 4 times, although it should have been more. But I'll talk about that. A lot of great battles with a lot of great champions. But to start the seminar off, I just want to say, you know, it's just a true honor for me to be here and to be present, to be active years after competing, and be able to travel around the world and still have a huge support behind me with all the fans, old fans, new fans, everyone that continues to support bodybuilding, because as you know, bodybuilding was the only thing when I started at the age of 18. I joined the gym and I wanted to build my body better. I never imagined being a world champion bodybuilder and traveling the world and standing here in front of, you know, fans from all over the world and be able to tell my story. So it's much appreciated. But I'm going to talk about the Mr. Olympia just happened last week. We have a new Mr. Olympia. Okay? And I know before I'm going to open up for questions, but that's going to be one of the questions. What do I think about the Olympia, right? As you guys know, I was close to Phil Heath for many years, and he beat me to win 7. Okay? And Sean Roden just beat him when he was going for 8. And, you know, I interviewed Sean on my YouTube channel 3 weeks prior, and he says, I'm going to win the Mr. Olympia. A lot of people didn't believe that, and he was confident he would. And he predicted he was going to beat Phil Heath, and he surprised a lot of people, and he did it. And I thought he truly deserved it. I was very happy for him. He brought in a very streamlined, great midsection. Phil was bigger, but Phil needed a better package. He needed his midsection to be tighter in order to win that title. And I think, you know, Sean stepped forward. He's now the new Mr. Olympia, and you know, hopefully you guys will get to see him, you know, probably at FIBO or next. You know, he's going to make a great champion. But shoot, hopefully Phil comes back and battles him, right? I think so. Hopefully we can get Kai Green. I'm going to talk to Kai Green, try to get him to come back and compete too. Because I know that he has a lot of fans, right? We have a Kai Green fans here? A lot of Kai Green fans, right? I think he can come back and challenge all these guys. But you know, there's Rolly Winkler and you know, Big Ramy, if he figures it out. There's a lot of great champions up there. William Bonnick, who's a little shorter, but he's put together well. A lot of great champions. But one guy that won't be on the stage is me. No more. So if anyone asks, I'm not coming back and competing. I enjoy this much greater, okay? Like I said, it's a lifestyle. It's about going to the gym and training and eating on a specific diet. And you guys that follow me know my diet was the key to my success, okay? I ate every 3 hours. I ate 7 times a day. And I did that for 20 years to build the body. And I think the diet is the most important thing. And I know when I travel over here, it is harder to get food than being in the United States. It's definitely harder to eat. And we definitely have a better system, I think, as far as catering to the bodybuilders. But I make sure when I stay on that training schedule, the diet is intact also. The diet has to be on schedule, okay? And I was able to do a kind of a little VIP thing prior. I got to train with some people and teach them some tips about what I did. And the training is very simple, okay? A lot of volume, a lot of repetitions, and it's just day in and day out. I train each body part once every 5 to 7 days. And I did one body part a day. So one day chest, one day legs, one day back, one day arms. Always worked best for me. I train each body part once every 5 to 7 days. Okay? Recovery was super important for that. So I had to be able to rest, and your muscles should be rest at least 72 hours before training it again. And that's key. And it's just the day in, day out that you do that combined with the diet and those patterns that get you to the level. But when I started training at 18, I already had a good body, but I wanted to be better. And what really motivated me was seeing progress, seeing my arms get bigger, my legs. I had big legs as a teenager. And that really inspired me to keep going. And then of course I started competing. I became the best teenager at 19 in the United States, competed against Branch Warren. Okay, he beat me in the overall. And when that happened, I said he would never beat me again. And that stayed true through my whole career. He was second to me at the Olympia one year. And I had a goal, you know, to be the best I could. And I worked my way up to levels until I got professional, started earning a living as a bodybuilder, and next thing you know, competing against those idols that I read about in the magazines, because remember, the magazines were the only thing that we could read about. There wasn't the internet, and then the internet came along, and as you see now, you can see all the top guys training minute to minute on Instagram or Facebook or, you know, YouTube channels. You can watch what goes on. So it's much greater now. You can learn a lot more. And I think that's important. I think learning is important, and learning the proper techniques. Because I know when I started training, I was watching people in the gym, and a lot of these people did not know how to work out. I was following the wrong advice, and they didn't know how to eat properly. So now you can see the meal plans and the training schedules that the top athletes compete, and it wasn't easy. You know, it's a lot of consistency, and you know, because I ate 7 meals a day didn't mean I was hungry for 7 meals. I was force feeding a lot of those meals, and it became a very rigid routine, but it had to be consistent in order to make the progress. And eventually I worked my way up, and as you know the history, second to last at my first Mr. Olympia. Okay, Ronnie's second year he won. And then of course I moved up to 8th. And then I landed a very controversial second in 2001 to Ronnie Coleman. And after that I was second, before I finally won in 2006. But it was frustrating. I was always second to Ronnie Coleman, and I wanted to beat Ronnie. So the Olympia title became more about beating Ronnie Coleman than winning the Mr. Olympia. And as we know, Ronnie was the greatest, right? Ronnie was probably the greatest bodybuilder ever, biggest. So every year, I was fighting to win that crown. And I was trying to beat, you know, one of my idols. And eventually it came true in 2006. I was able to win that. Held the title for 2 years. And then I lost to Dexter Jackson. Okay, shorter bodybuilder. Okay. Very frustrating. But in 2009, I came back my best ever and won 2 more times until Phil Heath came up under me and took it away. I had an injury toward this bicep. Okay, 3 weeks prior to the contest, and I lost that show. Sat out a year, came back in 2013 and finished 6th place. That was the way I exited the stage. Anyone there in 2013 when I competed? Anyone in this crowd? I know you were. Who was there in 8? You were my bad luck then. That was close, right? Were you rooting for Dexter Jackson? Okay. He was rooting for me. Of course he's going to say that in my seminar. When Dexter comes and does his seminar, you'll say you're rooting for him. Too short, okay. I agree. I gave the title to him, that's what I said. I said that, so. But a lot of great champions, okay? I found Phil Heath when he was younger, and I encouraged him to move up through the ranks. Little did I know he would come up and beat me and take the title. But he held the title, you know, for 7 years, man. It's a long time. And now it's time for the new generation. And of course, I think, you know, Roden is stepping forward. And 43 years old, guys, Sean Roden, which is the oldest Mr. Olympia that ever won, which is amazing. So I think that's incredible that we can see the progress now at the later ages. Lee Haney, a former Mr. Olympia, he retired at 31 after 8 titles. And we see the ages now, there's no limitation. So a lot of people ask me, is it too late? No, it's not too late. Okay, I mentioned I started at 18. I see younger kids in here, 17, 16. There's never a right age or wrong age to start. I started at 18 once I got out of high school, and my goal was just to get bigger. And then as I got bigger and started winning shows, then my goal was to become the best bodybuilder in the world. But I didn't realize until the first time I stood next to Ronnie Coleman in 2001, when I was second, that I realized I could win the Mr. Olympia title. That's the first time I realized I could actually be the best bodybuilder in the world. It took me a long time after that. I mean, 2006, it took me 5 years before I actually won the title, which was frustrating, okay? But I was able to do it. And like I said, when you can look in the mirror and say, okay, there's no further to go, it's an amazing feat, okay? And I'm very blessed to be able to continue to do what I do. And, you know, I've traveled all over the world. I've seen all these different cultures. This trip alone, you know, I'm traveling to different countries over here. And like I said, I attend a lot of trade events, the FIVO being one of the first ones I ever came to for the first time in 1999. And I've seen it grow. It used to be in Essen, okay, and then it's now in Cologne. And I get to meet a lot of fans, a lot of supportive people, but it's changing. We know bodybuilding now isn't the only thing. We have the YouTubers and we have the Instagram people. Social media has changed the game a lot. And for someone that's been around for such a long time, I'm still very active on social media, so you have to put your life out there. So you up-and-coming people or current people that are competing or want to build a name for yourself, you have to put your content out there. You have to show your personality, you have to show your training, what you eat, your lifestyle, because that's what people thrive on, how they can relate. And there's so many people sitting in this room, and I'm sitting up here speaking to you guys. You know, I came from a very small town. I'm the youngest of 7 kids. Okay, no one in my family ever lifted weights. My parents didn't lift weights. And I chose that career. But I sit here and wonder what brings all these people to come out here to listen to me speak. And I would hope that some of you guys have the courage to stand up and ask me a question during this seminar, because that's what I'm here for, okay? And I know you guys come here with the questions wondering, okay, I wonder what Jay would say about this or that. And I encourage you guys to step forward and speak. I could sit here and talk about my experiences in bodybuilding, but what I'm trying to do is educate or give you guys an insight of my life, okay? We can go do pictures and all this at the end, which we'll do. We'll flex some biceps, okay? Even the ladies, we can flex too. But I want you guys to have a great experience here, okay? Does anyone have a question for me? Someone's got to start with the first question of this seminar. Are we going to do microphones with this? Okay. And then we'll work off that, okay? Thank you, sir, for stepping up with that too.
With microphone or without?
Well, you speak loud, you can say it without.
Okay. What do you think about training twice a day?
Sorry? Kommen Sie wieder?
Twice a day training. Okay.
So, what do you think about training twice a day?
Twice a day training is something I did in my career when I was making a living as a bodybuilder. Obviously, people that work a real job or they go to school, they have commitments with their family. Very difficult to train twice a day, okay? If you're gonna do this, the workouts need to be 5 hours apart at least. Okay, you need 5 hours in between to let your body recover. So if you're gonna train in the morning, make sure that you spread it out 5 hours later, okay, to train twice.
5 hours after the first training?
Yes, okay. So if you want to train with more intensity, that's usually great to do. So if you're training 2 body parts a day, what I suggest is training a large body part and a smaller body part instead of 2 large body parts. Okay, it did help me a lot. It helps with your intensity. It helps you focus on those body parts, okay? If you have weaker body parts, sometimes that's ideal to do. It depends on your schedule. If you ask me if I did it my whole career, no. Towards the end of my career, as I got older, my body couldn't handle training twice a day. I needed more recovery. Okay, so I trained each body part once. That's why I said I grouped. You know, I did chest one day, back one day, legs one day, shoulders one day, arms one day. And I usually trained, if you guys wanted to know my schedule, I trained 3 days straight, took a day off, trained 2 days straight, took another day off. So I never trained 7 days in a row. I never trained 8 hours a day, which is what people ask me all the time when they saw my size. I was 300 pounds. And they said, you must work out for 10 hours a day. I said, no, I train 1 hour a day. I just eat a lot. Okay.
Okay, ihr könnt auch die Frage auf Deutsch stellen. Also es wird dann übersetzt. Also es wäre kein Problem.
Because I did eat a lot. So I think that
You talked about the 01 Olympia and the 08 Olympia where you could have or should have won. On the other hand, there's some people making an argument that in 07 Victor Martinez should have won. What do you think is the reason they gave it to you?
I think, you know, listen, the judges are the ones that, the judges are the ones that make the decisions, okay? So it's never the athletes, just like this year's Olympia. Some people argue Phil, Rolly Winkler, 2001, let me explain why I think I should have won. Okay? The judges' scorecards, there's two parts of the Mr. Olympia contest. There's the prejudging and the finals, right? The prejudging, I was ahead by 6 points in 2001. Okay? By Saturday night, Ronnie came back and gained 9 points to beat me. So he won by 3. It's almost impossible for that to happen, but he did it. Okay? This year's Olympia, just so you know, Sean Roden was ahead by 1 point after prejudging Friday night. And I don't know how much he won by, but that's how close it was to Phil Heath and Sean Roden this year. Now, 2007, I was never behind in points after prejudging. Okay? I was still ahead. And I came back Saturday a little better, and Victor looked great. Like, it was a close decision. I think that, you know, I had won in 06, overcame, you know, beat Ronnie Coleman. I was happy it went my way, obviously. I was happy that I won, but listen, I had to live all year with people saying, oh, Victor should have won, or this and that, but according to the judges' scores, I was never behind in that contest. Like, in the scores are shown, right? So, and it wasn't, I didn't have to make up ground. But there was a controversy of, okay, people thought Victor, he was the best he ever looked, right? So it could have gone either way. That's the way I saw it. So obviously, you know, that was the decision. And I have the sando at my house, which is great. And I display those, so if anyone's seen my office, you know, I have all the trophies and all the medals and everything sitting there. And I wake up every morning and I look at this stuff just to show my achievements of, okay, why I did what I did. But it still had to be motivating every day for me to get up to train. And there were a lot of days that I did not want to go to the gym. I drove to the gym and I said, man, this is going to be the worst workout ever. And I had to find a way to push myself through. So sometimes I go in the gym and those workouts were some of the best ones. But when you look at yourself in the mirror and you have a set goal, I think you really need to be motivated. And I think too many people these days, they need extra motivation. They take a pre-workout, okay? Pre-workouts didn't exist when I was competing in Mr. Olympia contests. I didn't need caffeine and something to boost me up to go work out. I love to train. Like, that's what I love to look forward to. Although there were certain days I was tired and I didn't want to go at certain times. I would even go to the gym, go through 2 sets and say, it's not the right time, and I'd walk out of the gym and go back later. Like, that happens even when you're the best in the world at what you do. And you have to have people around you that motivate you. You have to have support. You stand up on a stage by yourself, or you go to the gym and you work out, you're the one that's pushing the weights or doing the cardio. But you need people that are going to support you and help you when you don't want to diet and you don't want to, you know, go to the gym and push through your sets. Okay, and my training was very instinctive, meaning, you know, I kind of listen to my body. You have to listen. So you can't go in the gym and say, okay, well, last week I did more weights or this and that. You have to still have a game plan, but you have to listen to what your body tells you. If it hurts, if an exercise hurts, don't do it, okay? If you prefer dumbbells instead of barbells, focus more on the dumbbell training. Focus more on if you want to do cardio, if you want to do treadmill, if you want to do stairs or bike. You know, listen, no one wants to sit there on stairs. It's the best to get into shape. That's the best cardio you can do. It's the hardest, okay? It's easy to sit on a bike and ride a bike, but if you really want to get conditioned and really get like the glutes and hamstrings, you know, the stairs are going to be the way to get in the best shape. That's how I found for my Olympia wins, the stair mill was the best for me to be in shape, okay? Keep the metabolism up by doing that cardio. You have to stay with that cardio when you're getting in your best shape. Best time to do your cardio, fasted cardio first thing in the morning, empty stomach. Okay? To this day, this morning I woke up 6:30 and I did 40 minutes of cardio this morning. Okay? Every day I try to do my cardio. I try for 7 days a week for my cardio workouts. Other best time after the weight training session, never before weights. Okay, you're gonna burn up glycogen. So if you're gonna do your cardio either first thing in the morning or after your weight training session, those are the two best times to do your cardio workouts. I suggest 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, up to an hour. No more than an hour each session. Okay, any questions on the cardio?